All right, next up we have polyatomic ions. And so what we have here is covalently bonded. Covalently bound atoms that have an overall charge. And so kind of like an ion, it's got a charge, but it's polyatomic. So we've got more than one atom in this ion. And then this polyatomic ion can bond ionically to other things. So for example, NaNO3. This NO3 is a polyatomic ion. It's nitrate. And so we drew the structures for nitrate previously. There's our Lewis structure for nitrate. Overall has a -1 charge. There are two other resonance structures within this nitrate molecule, but in this case, I'm just going to draw one. And so what we can see here is within the molecule, we have covalent bonds. But then we have an overall charge, and everything always has to be charge balanced. So in this case, it's charge balanced by the sodium. So we have Na+, right? And then here we have an ionic bond. And so with the polyatomic ions, they always have to be or all molecules and compounds overall have to be charge neutral. So with polyatomic ions, we've got a polyatomic ion and then some kind of counter charge to it. Overall, we've got a whole lot of different common polyatomic ions. And for these, you just got to memorize them. So this is just going to kind of be brute memorization and, just practice. So first off, start off with one that's not even an ion. I just want you to know it. H2CO3 is what's known as carbonic acid. So that one's the only one that's not actually an ion. The rest of them will be ions. HCO3 minus is called bicarbonate. CO3 2 minus is just carbonate. So there's our kind of first series, the kind of CO series, if you will. Next up, we have NO3 minus is nitrate. NO2 minus is nitrite. So there's another series. And this will be a common theme when we have the polyatomic ion with more oxygen. So in this case, this one has 3 oxygens. It gets the ate ending. When it has less oxygens, it gets the ite ending. Not necessarily 3 and 2, but just more or less. So for example, PO4 3 minus is phosphate. PO3 3 minus is phosphite. So again, ate means more oxygens, ite means less oxygens, but it doesn't necessarily tell you how many oxygens there are. That depends on which polyatomic ion you're talking about. SO4 2 minus is sulfate. SO3 2 minus is sulfite. CN minus with the negative on the carbon is cyanide. And then we have the chlorate series. So we have ClO4 minus, we have ClO3 minus, we have ClO2 minus, and then we have just ClO minus. So this one right here in the middle, ClO3 minus gets chlorate. Then the one right under it with one less oxygen is chlorite. And then if we have more oxygens, we put a prefix to it. And so this becomes perchlorate. And when we have way less oxygens, we put a prefix of hypo. So this one is hypochlorite. Next up, we have NH4 plus. So this is going to be our polyatomic ion that's positively charged. It's the only one we're going to learn of. This one is ammonium. We have MnO4 minus is permanganate. And then finally, we have OH minus is simply hydroxide. So overall, you just got to memorize these, write out some note cards, and memorize.